proving fault in personal injury cases. So let's talk about a couple of things there. Fault and then personal injury. Personal injury we lawyers use all the time, but it just basically refers to someone who suffers an injury to their body as opposed to property damage. Your car is hurt, that's a property damage claim. So personal injury is when you're hurt, whether it's a broken arm, hurt back, whatever it might be. So what about proving fault? Well, many people mistakenly believe that if they're injured, it doesn't matter, they're going to get money, the government's going to provide for them. That's just not correct. In a lawsuit, we have to find the person who caused the injury, prove that it was their fault, that they violated some sort of rule or some sort of law or some sort of safety standard, prove that it was their fault, and only then is our client going to recover for the injuries. So let's give just a real quick example. So let's say our client is in a car and driving down the road, and then all of a sudden they're run into, and they don't know what happened. They say, I don't know, I was just run into. Well, we would have to prove that, number one, they were injured in the car accident. So we'd go through and say, well, what are their injuries? And yeah, we know they're in that car accident, but then what about proving that the other driver did something wrong? If our client doesn't have a clue what happens, well, use your common sense. We get the police report out, we get the photographs, we look at the skid marks, we try to see what happened. Well, if it turned out that our client was stopped at a stop sign and somebody ran into them from the back and hit them, then we would be able to prove that person did something wrong. They failed to stop at a stop sign and they failed to yield to traffic in front of them. But let me give you an occasional example that happens sometimes. What if in that same situation our client got rear-ended, but it turned out that the person who rear-ended them and was fine and doing okay, and then just right before they rear-ended our client, they had a heart attack. Well, people can't control when they're going to have a heart attack. So if it's a normal person going down the road and they just happen to have a heart attack at the instant before this crash, then they didn't do anything wrong. The law says it's not their fault if some unforeseen, uncontrollable thing comes in and causes that accident. Now, I grant you that's something very rare, and that's only happened a couple of times in my whole law career, so I don't think it's a problem for you. But it's just a good example to show that not only do we have to prove that the person hits you in a car accident or some other type of injury that the accident happened, we have to prove they did something wrong, and only then can we get to their insurance or their money to get compensation for our clients. Thank you.